Every week, 13-year-old Jamarian Stiles came to this community center in Boca Raton, Florida, hoping to play basketball with the other kids. And every week, he was rejected. The problem was obvious to everyone but Jamaria. He lost his hands and most of his arms as an infant due to a rare bacterial infection, which is why, on the first day of class here at Eagles Landing Middle School, Jamarian took his case to basketball coach Darian Williams. Said he wanted to be on the team this year.
I said, all great, well, just make sure you try out. He was usually the first one in the gym, usually the last one to leave.
Still, he sat on the bench most of the season, until last month. Coach put him in the game with about 6 minutes left, and when he eventually got the ball on the far side of the court, everyone yelled, "Shoot it!" So he did, and sank a three-pointer. Shortly after, he got the ball again, this time on the near side, for another three-pointer. At the buzzer, Jamarian Stiles, the kid no one would pick, was now everyone's hero.
You don't have to know how to make a movie. If you truly love cinema with all your heart and with enough passion, you can't help but make a good movie. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to know a lens, a 40 and a 50 and fuck all that shit. Crossing the line, none of that shit's important. If you just truly love cinema with enough passion, and you really love it, then you can't help but make a good movie.
You cannot beat a river into submission. You have to surrender to its current and use its power as your own.
Well, I control it by surrendering control? It doesn't make any sense.
Not everything does. Not everything has to. Your intellect has taken you far in life, but it will take you no further. Surrender, Stephen. Silence your ego, and your power will rise.
Do you now believe in God?
Now? Difficult to answer. I know. I don't need to believe. I know.
Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for and evidence of things not seen. From my own life and my own really understanding, faith is literally like the foundation of literally anything that ever succeeded in life, whether it was a movement, whether it was an ideal, whether it was an invention, or whether it was people that were striving for a better life. These people always had faith, right? They're going through hard times, even though positive or just uplifting moments or just any type of positivity wasn't physically, present in their life. People always had faith that it would get better. They had belief and they had hope that it would get better. And I believe that's how a lot of people are. I think that's the way that faith manifests in most people. I know it manifested in my life like that. And the thing about it is, like, if faith is a necessity. For faith is belief. It's a necessity in succeeding with anything that you plan on doing. Whether it's faith in, your career, faith in just your own goals, faith in spirituality or just religion. That's a whole nother type of faith, but it's still the same thing. It takes you being able to forget what your eyes may see or your physical senses may feel, and to step into the void, allow your beingness to step into the void and really feel and hope for, whatever you may be hoping for, whether it's to build a relationship with the universe, with God, whether it's to really build your career, manifest your dream career or your dream life. I'm about to say, it may not be something that's physically interacting with you, but in your mind, and like I said, we're in your mental playground. That's exactly where it exists. And in many ways, your faith is like an extension of your willpower and your receptivity. It's like faith works on the polarity, in a sense. Like, it's just a masculine form and it's a feminine form. The masculine form is the willpower, where you're willing it. Like, to a certain extent, of course, you can't full willpower your way through faith, right? You have to be able to open yourself up to these higher energies, more higher vibrations, to really pull what you want down, like your manifestations down, and to really live in your full manifestations. But like I said, they say if you don't work, like I said, there's no way to make your dreams happen without working. I know some people be really like high spiritually advanced that they can just think about what they want and it happen to them. But to the average human being, I'm not gonna try to be too spiritual or just too esoteric, but will has to be done. You have to use your willpower. You have to be forceful in a sense and be electric and bend life to to your needs, and like you really have to make a way out of no way, and that's only gonna help you for so long, and then that's when the other end of the faith comes into play. This is where people be saying like prayer and just action, just really asking universe, asking God, asking anything to really help you to accomplish your goals. And that's what I believe about like the masculine and just the feminine aspect of your own faith. And faith really just boils down to belief in oneself, belief in the universe. And that's something that I believe that is one of the hardest things when you come into spirituality, or just when you coming into anything new in your life, is faith. Having some type of faith that it may work out. Having some type of faith that that you are going to succeed. And even just looking back on my own experience and through my own journey of just faith, it's been a long, rough journey. It's been hell. And I'm realizing, of course, I'm still going through hell. It's a lesser form of it, but I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm understanding. So with that being said, I'm just about to just go through my own journey and just thinking like where my faith even came from. Like my faith came from like my mother, like I said, and just growing up in poverty. When you're in poverty, it just seems like everything is just so messed up and wrong. But even though you may not have a lot, life is still so plentiful and it's so positive, and it allowed for faith and hope to really flourish inside my heart and my mind. I think that's why I have so much big dreams and so many big dreams that faith was harbored into me and my siblings. Hope was, even though we wasn't in good situations or life didn't deal us the best cards, it was always a hope, and it was always a sense of we got control of our fate and we got control of our destiny. I'm about to say, just because life deals you bad cards don't mean that you can't use those cards to your advantage, or even find another way. There always seems to be a way, especially if you wouldn't to go look for it, then you'll find another way. And that's literally where it started from. And then on top of me not being like any like religious or spiritual, this is like pre-awakening, I was nihilistic as fuck. Like I was literally like, I was this person that, not saying I didn't have like religious experiences, but I was always like, damn, like if a God exists, either he don't like me, he don't like my family, like he just don't like me. And I'm like, and I think I came across that when I was watching like Fight Club, and then I'm like, damn, that makes it called me to it, and I'm like, damn, this is really what I believe. And then that's when I started getting into like Friedrich Nietzsche, and I'm like, and some of his ideals are something that was like really ingrained in like my character subconsciously, and that's really partially who I was. I was nihilistic, and I wasn't nihilistic in the way like an atheist nihilistic. I don't think I was just in the way of wishful thinking, right? Let's say if God do exist, of course I'm gonna still be a good human being, but I'm not about to be like, oh my God, like so obsessed with the God and God liking me and all this type of stuff. And this is speaking pre-awakening, but also still having this idea that God is like a person, right? A person in the sky. And if you really mess with me or not, And I think that's the way that I even thought about it like that. So I was very nihilistic. Like I'm thinking that I'm just gonna handle what I need to handle by myself, or like I said, of course, with other people around. But I'm not about to, pray. Praying was not an option. I was not about to pray. I wasn't about to even put myself in a submissive role like that. Not saying anything is wrong with praying. That was just me, how my thinking was back then. I didn't have enough. I didn't believe in such a higher power. No higher power would ever been present in my life. I about to say, not saying that I went through hell growing up, but nothing that's ever showed its presence enough for me to be like, okay, there is a higher power. There was nothing proving it. It was nothing denying it. I didn't have any type of mental understanding, so I was just going off of just pure physical senses and what I could see and what was in my reality and what was the information I was picking up. So nihilism was the thing that I picked up. And then I guess the next step of my own journey in faith was like I was starting to feel like insane. I know this might be all over the place in the video, but the insanity of it, like when you start to get confident, you start to really figure out what you want to do. You start to have an idea of how to get to where you want to go. You have to learn to, you have to learn to shut off like all the noise, like quiet all the noise and just have tunnel vision and have zero expectations of what can happen. Like you literally have to be so open and you have to be so relentless and persistent that you have to really like quiet the noise, because this is like when the insanity starts to settle in. It's like when you got a goal or you want to do something with your life, you got a career goal, and it's like, and it's not even like a safe, it's not safe. It's very unpredictable. It's very, it's very intuitive. You have to realize that even though you're not making no physical progress that you can see, you're making progress in like what they say, in the dark, in the void, but you're not making physical progress and you can't see the progress. So it feels like you're not doing anything. It feels like you just running in place, not making no progress, and that starts to generate these feelings of insanity. And it's just like, why am I doing this? And then when you get this insanity feeling, it comes up with frustration, and that frustration feeling is like, so it's like the worst. I hate feeling frustrated. I hate feeling things, period. How about I say I'm growing and I'm getting better at feeling things, but that's one thing I just hate, is just feeling the emotions of failure. Even though I wasn't failing, even though, I wasn't getting any like bountiful results, I just hated the feeling of just doing something over and over and over again and just seeing zero views. Or even like with YouTube, I kept dropping YouTube and I'm seeing 0 views and just not making it. I was just getting bothered by it. I was getting frustrated. I was just like, oh my God, like, man, fuck this shit. And I'm like, bro. And you realize that in the end, I was just very immature in my thought process. I was still lacking faith and just understanding that, for one, the divine timing with a lot of things, with life, period. And things not gonna always, and maybe, just maybe, I wasn't ready. And I think that's really what it was. I knew I wasn't ready deep down. I was a half-assing person. And I was just always half-assing, expecting some type of full result. And I'm like, that's not the right way to do things. And I had to realize that I had to be persistent. And I had to really do this with no expectations. And it really forced me to understand that I'm doing this. I have to be doing this for the passion and the love of it. And that's really what some of these videos was at the beginning of the video, was like, you really got to like what you do. You got to have some type of passion. You got to have some type of fire about you with these things that you plan on doing with your life. That's when the faith and the passion really comes together well, is when, you have a mutual understanding of what you want to do. And that's what I had. And that's what I needed. And of course, I'm growing in this aspect still, but when you start to grow, and I guess this is me speaking from post awakening and having some type of healing in my heart and my mind, is that the way to really increase faith is really just taking a leap of faith, really. Like, you really just got to take the leap out there. You got to jump into the void. You got to jump into the unknown. You got to jump into the unknown, get comfortable with it, and allow it to settle in. You just really got to allow it to really settle in. You have to learn it. Be open to anything positive or negative. I'm about to say, you have to understand that things don't run in your time. It never does. And I'm about to say, and that idea in itself broke my heart for a lot of time. Like, I was just like so upset. Like, I'm like, damn, like, why do I gotta wait? Why do I got to deal with these emotions? I think I just didn't want to deal with the emotions of them. And I had to come to the realization that through me having to wait and go through these moments, it was building me, and it was creating a character of myself that would allow for these manifestations to really come forth. Like I said, if I'm still half-assing things and I'm expecting my dream to happen, more than likely when that dream happened and I'm not that person that I need to be for that dream, I'm gonna keep falling up. I'm gonna keep coming up short. I'm gonna keep coming up, you know, not as my full self. And like I said, and that just caused for a lot of disharmony to happen. And that's something that nobody wants to happen. Like, if I want to become a YouTuber, like I said, I want to be a YouTuber and I want to be the best YouTuber I can be. And just be the best teacher I can be the best psychic, be the best brother, father. I ain't no father, but I'm about to say to be the best person I can be. And I would hate to not be my full self and be half-assing it. So it's teaching me to be my full self, and it's teaching me to be myself and be comfortable in my own skin. And that was, I think that was the overall message of it, is behind the faith, is that, and the passion is that I had to be myself. To get where I really want, I have to be myself. To get where I really want, I have to really put in 110% of whatever I have. I have to put the full tank of gas in it. I can't half-ass it, and I can't be expecting to fall back on something when I can't be expecting myself to really, you know, go all in on plan A and then still have plan B. Like if I'm gonna go in all the way, I have to go in all the way and go in all the way until I can't no more. And like I said, it's really get rich or die trying. Like I think that's really how it is in my mind, and that's how I really try to play it too. So yeah, you know, that's the way to increase faith. Like I said, just take that leap of faith and everything's gonna be all right. Like I said, there's no danger to losing. Like I said, you won't die. You get stronger. Like I said, there's no such thing as losing in the first place. I'm about to say losing and winning is like an illusion. You can only really win. It's almost like the idea of like people saying if you live for God, who can really be against you, right? And I think that's something that I like to really, you know, connect to, is that there is no such thing as a loss. Like I said, your winning is only being delayed. You learning what you need to know. You learning what you need to know, and you learning your new character. You learning who you need to be to make sure that these goals and your desired outcome make itself known and make itself manifest. So yeah, if y'all like the video, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank y'all for tuning in. I know I was chatting, but you know, I had to do my thing. But other than that, you know, y'all have a great day. I love y'all. Thank you.